I'm gonna have to do a forfeit. No. Oh. Oh, I don't even want to. Oh, no. Oh. The third match day in the World Cup once again did not disappoint. And I feel like in this World Cup, we've already seen 4 matches across the first 2 days. But the one thing that I felt like we were really missing was a big upset, a game that no one thought was going to happen. You know, majority of people thought that Mexico would win in the opening match. A lot of people had South Korea getting the win. A lot of people had Canada versus Bosnia in a draw. And most people predicted USA to win against Paraguay. But we still haven't really seen a proper upset. But today we saw proper upsets, guys. We saw Qatar get that 1-1 draw against Switzerland. We saw Brazil get that draw against Morocco, and we also saw Scotland beat Haiti. But to be fair to Haiti, they were actually much better than I personally expected. But today we're going to talk about all 3 games. And guys, at the current moment, it is 1:44 a.m. I was just at a bar watching the Scotland game. And to be honest, I'm a little bit yeah, I maybe had a little bit more shots than I needed to, but at the end of the day, it's 1:44 a.m. and I'm recording this video for you guys. The first game we're going to talk about on day 3 was Qatar against Switzerland. And guys, this was crazy. This was absolutely crazy. I predicted that Switzerland was going to win this game. I was on stream live. Obviously, guys, if you don't know, I'm doing a watch along for majority of the World Cup days. We're going to be watching a lot of the games and we're going to be predicting every single game. And if I get a prediction wrong, then I have to do a forfeit. So I predicted Switzerland to win this game. I'm pretty sure 98, maybe 99% of other people predicted Switzerland to win this game. And the fact that they didn't win it, and they couldn't even score a goal from open play, is incredible. It's incredible, guys, because if you look at these stats do not lie. Okay, these stats do not lie. Switzerland had almost 70% possession. They had over 3 expected goals, 26 total shots with 7 on target, and they did not win this game. How? I honestly don't know. It's a mixture of poor finishing. It's a mixture of a poor final touch, but we also have to give credit to the Qatar goalkeeper Abu Nada. Bro, this guy was making so many saves. It says he has a total of 5 saves. I swear it seemed like more like 10. This guy was saving Qatar every single time. Now, guys, obviously in this game, Qatar were going to line up in a very low block, because they know that they cannot really compete with Switzerland. So the ideal game plan for Qatar was to line up in a very low block, try and hit Switzerland off the counterattack. And we actually saw that very, very early on in the game, as Qatar had a very, very good chance with Edmilson in the 2nd minute. Poor defending by Switzerland and Akanji. He had the chance, but in the end, it was a good save by Kobel. And Qatar had a few of these chances throughout the game. As you can see, they had a couple chances. Edmilson actually, he was the main person that got a few chances, but it seemed like Switzerland kept getting bailed out. Qatar, they were trying to go for the counter and they had a few chances, but they just couldn't find the back of the net. And I thought that would come to bite them in the ass. I was saying, if they do not score from these chances, they're not going to win this game. And if we look at Switzerland's shots, bro, they were all over Qatar. All over Qatar. They had the ball for a majority of the game. As you can see, 70% possession in the first half. The second half, they were dominating on the ball. We saw players like Ndoye, players like Vargas and Bolo have loads of shots. Xhaka had a few shots. Even the midfielders had a few shots. Zakaria even had shots. Guys, almost every single one of these Swiss players had multiple shots in the game. So the fact that they did not win this game is absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, guys, Mbolo scored the penalty in the 17th minute. A lot of people thought that it may be offside. Obviously, it was a foul from the goalkeeper Abu Nada, and for all the good he did in that game, that was a pretty poor foul by him. Now, a lot of people thought that it was offside. To be honest, it kind of looked offside, but at the end of the day, it wasn't offside. VAR said it wasn't offside, and it was a very strange penalty by Mbolo. He seemed to just walk up very calmly and just pass it into the bottom corner. Simple penalty for Switzerland. And at that point, guys, when Switzerland went up in the 17th minute, I thought they were going to go on to score 3 or 4. I predicted a 3-1 win for them. But the fact that throughout the whole rest of the first half and the second half as well. The fact that they didn't score is absolutely crazy. And Qatar, they just held on. They just held on. Switzerland were doing everything under their belt. Murat Yakin was making substitutions. He put on Manzambi. He put on Abdouni. He put on Jashari. He was putting on all the best players. He needed to score in this game. And then, in the last minute of play, the 94th minute, a header from the center back, Kuki, gets Qatar the goal. Out of nowhere, I was about to turn off the game. Okay, there was about maybe 20-30 seconds left in the game. And this guy, Kuki, gets a crazy header in the last minute of play. Very good header, great pass to him. And you know what? At the end of the day, W Qatar, because the fact that Switzerland had so many chances and they did not take them is crazy. They had momentum throughout the whole entire game. And for Qatar to still get a result from this game, do I think Qatar is going to get out of the group stages? No. Do I think this is better for Canada or Bosnia or any other team that's trying to finish in first place? 100%, because now if we look at the table, all teams are tied with 1 point and all teams have a 0 goal difference. So this group still has everything to play for. So the next games will be very important, and Canada are facing Qatar. So Canada need to get a result if they want the best chance to make it out of the group. But in terms of Switzerland, guys, this was a bad game. I've been saying for a lot, I do think Switzerland have a very good team, but at the same time, they're just so inconsistent. I think they have a good team, and some games they play, we've seen them score 3 goals, 4 goals. We saw it against Jordan. We saw it against Germany. But some games they play, we saw it against Norway. We saw it today. They can have a lot of shots, but they just don't have the clinical finishing ability. But at the end of the day, sadly for Swiss fans, sadly for Switzerland, even though they dominated in this game, they just couldn't get it done. Moving on to the next game, we had Brazil against Morocco. And for me, this was going to be 100% the highest quality game that we've seen so far in this World Cup. If you guys were in the live stream, I was watching it with my friend David. And this, in my opinion, was a very entertaining game. I did predict a draw. I was thinking more of a 2-2 draw, but it did end in a 1-1 draw. And I think that was the fair result. Now, throughout this game, both teams had different times of dominance. If you look at the first half, it was largely dominated by Morocco. Now, Brazil had maybe about a 10-minute period where they seemed like they had control of the game. But other than that, I would say for majority of the first half, it was mainly dominated by Morocco. But in the second half, I feel like Brazil really turned it around. For that first 25 minutes, from 45 all the way to 70, Brazil were completely dominant. But then after the water break in the 70th minute, it seemed like Morocco turned the switch again, and Morocco were once again dominating. So I feel like this game was really back and forth. It was very stretched throughout times, and both teams had a lot of different times of dominance. Now, I do think that the 1-1 draw was the fair result. I think that Morocco probably could have scored another goal, especially in the first half. I think Brazil probably could have scored a goal in the second half. And both teams had players you can criticize, but I will say overall, I think Morocco was the better team. For me, the best player in this game, the man of the match in this game, was Ayoub Bouadi. What an incredible game, guys. First of all, 18 years old, okay, 2007. Second of all, look at the heat map in this game. He was everywhere, all over the pitch, helping out with the defense, the midfield, on the wings, in the attack. He was everywhere. Every time he picked up the ball in space, his control, his dribbling, his quick 1-2 passes, his confidence. This guy is one of the most confident 18-year-olds I've ever seen in my life, and playing in such a tough position, playing in that midfield, he had to do everything. Everything was going through him. And I will say, I think he was the most important player from Morocco and the best player in this match. Now, obviously, Morocco opened the scoring in the 21st minute. What a goal by Saibali, by the way. What a goal on a breakaway. Alisson comes out, chips it right over him from outside the box. It was a brilliant goal. If we go to the goals, this is where it was scored from. Very far out, but a beautiful chip. And Saibali, I've been saying a lot, is a very important player for Morocco, especially with the new injury to Ez Azouli. I think a player like Saibali really needs to step up for Morocco if they want to have a good tournament. Obviously, with PSV, he's been absolutely incredible this season. He's gotten 15 goals and 8 assists in 26 matches, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think with Morocco, he needs to have a good tournament. But it wasn't only him. Like I mentioned, Bouadi, El Khanous was also very good. Brahim Diaz obviously got the assist to the goal. El Ainaoui, I'm always a big fan of. So I think there was a lot of very good performances in this Morocco team. Now, on the other hand, Brazil, I don't think they performed as well. I think some players individually were very good. I actually thought Santos had a very good game. I thought Guimarães was very good. I thought Vinicius was very good. But other than that, I don't think anyone really outperformed in this game. So Brazil, I thought, were very poor. Now, that goal in the 32nd minute by Vinicius Jr., that was a crazy, crazy goal. He had the ball on the left side, dribble pass, maybe two defenders, cut inside, and a beautiful, beautiful finish to the top right corner. Bono had no chance, and Brazil leveled it 1-1. But after that, I feel like in the second half, the game kind of slowed down a little bit. Brazil started off the better team. They had a few chances, but nothing got past Bono. And then at the end of the game, you saw Morocco start to pick up. They had a few chances as well. A very late chance, as you can see here, by Amaimouni. Very good chance, but both keepers put off the necessary saves. And the game did end in a 1-1 draw. And I do feel like that was the fair result. But now it leaves questions to be asked on which team is going to try and top the group. It's going to be very, very tough because a 1-1 draw compared to what happened in the next game that's also in Group C that we're going to talk about in a second. It's looking like both of these teams really need to get results in the next game and also need to score a lot of goals as well, because I think goal difference after this draw is going to be very, very important. Now, moving on to the last game, we had Haiti against Scotland. Scotland came away with a 1-0 win. And like I just mentioned, I think this was a very, very good result for Scotland. W Scotland, and this is definitely going to galvanize their team for the rest of the World Cup, because at the current moment, they're sitting first place in the group, having gotten the 3 points against Haiti, while Morocco and Brazil got the draw. Now, this was a very, very good result for Scotland. Like I said, I was at a bar downtown Toronto. I was at a festival and I was at a bar watching this game. I was drinking a little bit, so maybe my memory might not be the best, but I'll try my best for you guys. Now, Scotland in this game, they were decent. But I'm going to start off by talking about Haiti, because I was surprised by Haiti. Now, I said in my predictions that Haiti would score in this World Cup. I don't think they're not going to score. And in this game against Scotland, I thought that this was going to be the game that they were going to score. I still thought Scotland would win by multiple goals, but I thought Haiti would score. And with how Haiti played in this game, I actually think they deserved the goal. I don't think Scotland really dominated for any real parts of this game. Maybe at the end of the first half was probably the most dominant period by Scotland. But other than that, I thought Haiti were actually pretty good. I thought they were moving the ball around pretty good. I thought their passing was pretty good. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by some of these players. Now, I feel like they probably could have got a goal. I feel like some of their players like Pierrot, players like Isidore, Providence, their midfielders, I feel like they had a few chances, but they just never really were able to get the better of Scotland's goalkeeper, Gunn. He did make a few good saves. I thought he was pretty good in this game, made a couple saves, right? Which were very important saves. But at the end of the day, I do feel like I'm pleasantly surprised with the way that Haiti played. I don't feel like they got dominated in this game whatsoever. And I actually think that they should be happy with their performance. But at the end of the day, they will be sad that they did not score a goal, especially in that second half. They had 7 total shots. They had almost 65% possession. Now, I will say, not all of their chances were that good chances. There were a lot of half chances for Haiti, but I was pleasantly surprised with how they played. But at the end of the day, Scotland get the job done. They scored the goal in the 29th minute by John McGinn. It was a deflection. We saw a pass long to Che Adams, who controlled it incredibly. Ball ends up with John McGinn, takes a shot, deflection, and it goes in. And John McGinn, he always seems to do it. Whether it's with Aston Villa, whether it's Scotland, he always seems to be the man to do it. But at the end of the day, Scotland do get the win. And the atmosphere, guys, in downtown Toronto was incredible. I was in a pub watching this. There was a festival going on. There was some Scotland fans. They were going crazy when McGinn scored. But even some of the Scotland fans were saying that Haiti probably deserved to score in this game. They had a few really good chances. And in terms of possession, they were actually much better than I expected. So it'll be very interesting to see if Haiti might actually be able to get an upset against Morocco and against Brazil. But this was definitely a good result for Scotland, because now they sit first place in the group. Now they still have to verse both Morocco and Brazil, but already knowing that they got the 3 points from the first game is very, very important for Scotland. But guys, that is the end of the video. Those were the 3 games that we had today. Now tomorrow we have loads and loads of games. Actually, at the time of recording this video, the Australia versus Turkey game just finished, and Australia got the win. So we're going to be talking about this game tomorrow as well. So guys, stay tuned for my day 4 recap and stay tuned for my live stream tomorrow where we will be streaming the Japan versus Netherlands game and also the Ivory Coast versus Ecuador game. There'll definitely be some crazy matches. But obviously, if you guys did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.